We are live. This is the market update. 10 AI coins. Need to know when the AI trade is going to get started? Well, here's a hint. How about after the full moon tonight or tomorrow night? This is going to be a very big deal. How do you know? Because if you say to yourself, how come my coin's not up? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it goes up 10%. Someone is asking this morning, how come HBAR didn't go up? It's not at the top of our list, but as soon as we get done on the stream, HBAR goes up 8%. Same thing with TAO, and we think this is going to spread out through the artificial intelligence universe, which is why you should stay tuned for the AI top 10 altcoins that if you just woke up, got into crypto, clicked on this button, or you've been here for a while and you just want to talk about AI and look at some charts, right? AI charts, artificial super intelligence token, as well as get some kind of TA read for the privacy narrative, like this Zcash thing. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just telling you right now, I know I was a big Zcash guy for 3 years and I just can't get big enough. I just can't. Because if it wasn't Q4, I would be like, okay, it's a trade. But if you have Q4 and you can have a banana zone, like there's going to be a banana zone somewhere, like a 10x, right? And, you know, Zcash already did like a 2 or 3x. That's great. That's terrific. But I bought more. I bought more on the dip to 150 because we have the Zcash roadmaps across all platforms, right? Patreon Platinum has the deluxe one in terms of like when to buy dips. Patreon VIP, and we have a Zcash deep dive in the YouTube member area, along with today's podcast with Toby, where, I mean, the woman just, like, I didn't even get to say hello. I started to talk, and she's like, don't interrupt me, and just kept going on and on and on, and we went through multiple lists. So we went through like the top 10 coins for the yen trade. Don't know what the yen trade is? Stay right here. We went through top 10 coins for social disorder. Okay. You know, green army men on the streets and stuff, people fighting each other. She picked out of that group what are the top coins for social disorder. And then she went through and helped with the thing that just hit Patreon Platinum, which is top Solana small coins. In other words, what Solana coins are already in an uptrend, what's already in an uptrend, and then which coins out of those does the GAN model like, and most importantly, which ones do Toby like? Some surprising answers there, but they both like the same coin at the top of the list. So the podcast is available in the YouTube member area. And if you prefer to read reports, that is summarized in the Patreon Platinum area. Obviously, the podcast is like the cornucopia of information based on everything we've talked about today. And we have more because somebody asked when AI trade, and we will answer that question today. So if you stick around, we will discuss 10 AI coins and the ones we like the best, which might surprise you. It might surprise you. Now, stablecoins. Stablecoins could trigger a $1 trillion exit from emerging market banks. And it's not just emerging market banks. This is a very important headline. This matters. This is hugely bullish for crypto, and it is not yet understood. So let's begin with something simple. If you don't like your currency and you would prefer to get into the dollar, okay, you can just get a stable coin and get into the dollar. You don't need your home currency anymore. You don't need it, right? People are just like, oh yeah, I'm going to take my money out, drop it into a crypto exchange, and start working in the dollar with stable coins, period. So if you don't have your act together with your currency, and I don't really know who does have their act together with their currency, they're gonna look for dollar-denominated stable coins, which are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every day, every single day. That's point number one. Now, point number two about stable coins and crypto as a whole. So the Japanese have printed too much money over like a 30-year period. And their bond market's falling apart, and they got all kinds of problems, and it's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of sad. Like they can't hold it up. So what do? Well, they elect a new official, right? First female president, and she comes in and goes, you know what the solution is for printing too much money? Print more money, right? Abenomics is what they call it, right? Stimulus, Japanese stonks are flying, helicopter money, checks going directly to people. Like that's going to become a worldwide phenomenon. Like people are starting to figure out, at least in the United States, that the job market is so bad. It's so bad that they're going to have to send people $1,000 to $2,000, which was predicted by Toby Ward. And, normally I'm everything she says, I'm like, absolutely done. Don't question it. But I was like, wow, she said this 6 months ago, 3 months ago. I was like, stimulus checks? Really? I was like, wow, guess what? Hello, stimulus checks, right? They're raising tariffs on trucks, and the orange man's already figured out. I can feel the wheels turning when I watch the news. They're memeing the opposition. They're just making fun of them. They're tariffing everything. They have a new excuse to tariff people, because if people think tariffs equals stimmy checks, I don't know. The fact that a baby stroller costs 20% more, they may not care if stimmy checks are coming. And if stimmy checks are coming and the Japanese are going to print and print and print, right? You are going to have money flooding into not just Bitcoin, etc., which we'll go through, but you're also going to have money flooding into stablecoins, which creates a huge bid for vanilla crypto plays discussed earlier today. Aave, Chainlink, Sky, right? Where are all these stable coins going to go for yield? Galaxy Digital is involved in a news headline today, helping people get yield on stable coins. They are building a US dollar stable coin banking system. So everyone wants out of the yen. And to keep a very long story very short, when the yen falls, it allows speculators to borrow the yen, exchange them for dollars, take the dollars, buy Bitcoin or stonks, have stonks and Bitcoin go up, sell the Bitcoin and stonks for dollars, and then go back to the currency market. And because the yen is continuing to fall in value, those dollars have more purchasing power, and they wind up with more yen than where they started. It's called the yen carry trade. Now, if that made no sense, that's okay. Because when the yen goes down, everything goes up. And what's unbelievable about this market right now is that we are looking at these gigantic catalysts laid before our eyes. It's like we're walking into a banquet hall somewhere in Europe, and, there's a giant roast in the middle of the table, and, desserts to the left and sides to the right. Texas barbecue, the works. And we're just all standing there looking at it. We're all hungry. There's 20 chairs at this giant table, and no one's sitting down to eat yet. The market hasn't gone up yet. I was like, oh my God, Bitcoin all-time high. Okay, Bitcoin all-time high, great. Where was Bitcoin at the start of the year? I don't know. How much is Bitcoin up for the year, really, versus its, say, late January high? I mean, it's up. Okay, it's up. ETH recovered from the abyss, great. But XRP is still at $3. What has really happened here? Nothing. Honestly, nothing. And that's why the headline is, this is the biggest trade ever. Because not only are we bullish, but we're not long enough. The coins that we have, we still may be a little bit depressed, because if your coin didn't move last week, you're depressed. You're like, hey, how come my coin didn't move? So we've gone from my coin, or the market and my coin will never move, to I'm upset that my coin didn't move, or the coin I like that I don't own moved a lot. Like my Zcash position was definitely not big enough. Definitely not big enough, right? So we're all feeling it. But again, you got to think about the banquet table. Meanwhile, back at the macro ranch, there's France and Germany. Okay. The French form a new government and it falls in 3 weeks because they read the fine print, most likely, on what they have to hand out for social welfare, right? The Europeans let all these people into the country and put them all on welfare. How do you think they're keeping their society together? These people don't work. They don't work, right? And in Germany, went to they went to windmills and their industrial base went away. I mean, it's sad. So are you telling me that the alternative to the dollar is the euro or the yen? There is no alternative, right? It's the original Jim Rickards book, Currency Wars, Race to the Bottom. Who can make their fiat drop fast enough, right? This is accelerating equity markets. And as I said this morning, you have something going on in stonks that is absolutely freaking unparalleled. You have panic buying through the options market. The fear in equities is that it's going to go up because of this debasement trade. I mean, and then you add the stablecoin trade on top of that, followed by helicopter money. Like major U.S. cities are piloting programs that get people $12,000 a year. So what major U.S. cities are trying to do is they're trying to prevent Gen Z from going homeless. Literally. Like that's where we're at in the United States. And frankly, the country has been here for, I think 2 years. People living in their cars and stuff like that. Can't get jobs, can't afford rent. Forget about home and car ownership. Forget about it, right? They're talking about helicopter money of not just a stimmy check, but 12 cities are talking about $12,000 a month. Now, whether those people are, native born citizens or they came from the outside, how do you keep society together if nobody can get a job? Everyone's like, the AI singularity in 2030 is, everyone's going to have a problem getting a job. Dude, that problem is here right now. And there is only one answer. Like if you got a job, I can tell you right now, I cut my food budget to get more Zcash. The straight up, that's what I can tell you. Because that's a Toby recommendation. Toby said, dump Starbucks and go to peanut butter and jelly to get involved. And this doesn't say anything about antivirus, which, we really got to talk about, right? In other words, this privacy narrative spread out today to Tornado Cash. And Toby thinks simply that whatever's going on in privacy right now is the warm-up for next year, which means, if you make money in a trade, you got to start looking at not just stacking sats in Bitcoin, but you got to start looking at Zcash, Monero. You got to start looking at antivirus or any of these small cap privacy coins. Okay. It's not a lot of privacy coins out there that have good marketing, a good value proposition, a good team. It's not a lot of them. There isn't. And, if you catch the right one, if you have a bucket, as Toby said, like I said, just start it. Everyone is acting like the market is on the moon because Bitcoin made a new all-time high. I mean, crypto Twitter is like, Bitcoin makes new all-time high. Dude, it's up 2%. It's like S&P. Now, this is not dissing Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin could also go massively higher, like suddenly, right? Because, you have supply shock stuff going on. And I don't know if BlackRock can print enough paper Bitcoin to stop the demand for the actual spot product. Like I think the spot product is getting to critical mass. You're getting to critical mass across everything. And really all you get is just like 3% rally in ETH, and then it comes back down. You're getting dips intraday. And I personally think you got to jump on that and take advantage of it. You got to take advantage of it. If you got a job and you can get involved, it's almost like you have a personal responsibility to yourself, right? Self-care, wake up, brush your teeth, take your vitamins, say your prayers, buy crypto. It's the old Hulk Hogan thing with buy crypto at the end. Don't believe me? 70% of Gen Z are so anxious about money that they can't sleep. I actually know a couple kids like this. They're dealing with it by bed rotting and watching TV instead of budgeting. They're paralyzed. These kids, like, I want to say we have to save these kids, and I think that's why the stimmy checks are on the line. Okay, but at some point, they got to open up the crypto casino. Memes will be back. They will. They will be back, and they may be back in very simple forms. One of our models pulled out Doge. We talked about Doge briefly as one of the top chaos coins from this morning's stream, because all the streams now have like top 10, trying to do like top 10 coins, like 10 coins for. Don't worry, we have the AI trade coming up. So if you're not sticking around, you know, I don't know, man. You can stick around and get the 10 AI coins, or get some kind of idea of when that trade's going to start, or you can, as this article says, bed rot. And my people, my customers in Patreon Platinum are not bed rotting. We are going to launch into outer space. Okay. On the Skynet front, did you know that ChatGPT just came out with something where you can actually have ChatGPT communicate with other apps on your phone? So you have like programmable Skynet on your phone where you can just say, hey, go book me a hotel. It's happening now. And this valuation thing in equities, speaking of the AI trade, gets bigger every day, right? You know, Bitcoin miners, right, rally, you know, on this AMD chip thing where OpenAI says we're going to buy chips from, you know, AMD, right? There was huge call option buying in AMD, which is like bullish derivatives bets in stonks. Like they're all investing. They invest in each other so they can become each other's customers. Now, I don't know what kind of scheme that is. The optics of it are weird. Like, you'll become my customer, and then I'll take the money to invest in you so you can continue to be my customer. That's what all these big tech companies are doing to get ChatGPT and Skynet and all that off the ground. Now, that's fine. But when all that gets off the ground, the machines are going to want crypto. The valuations are expanding at an exponential rate over there. They're just paying any price to get involved. Yet we sit here content with 1% to 2% rallies, or you get a 300% rally or a 200% rally and you freeze. I mean, Zcash is just an example. I mean, that's kind of like, that's becoming like the new pet example. No, as everyone's like, oh, Q4 is going to be a monster rally. I mean, I know that this is a stupid statement, but do you remember people going, yeah, you know, I bought Bitcoin at 20 and sold it at 100, or I bought Bitcoin at $1 and sold it at 100. Could Zcash and then the whole rest of this market do something similar where it just takes off and gets ridiculous? I mean, our GAN model assessed the probabilities of a move in Zcash to like a medium-term target and a much higher target. The targets are in the reports and the videos. So I'm talking about it with Toby, and Toby is like, I said the GAN model had a certain percent chance, which is conservative and reasonable, for a move in Zcash to 1,000. So, and you know, Toby was like, that's a reasonable probability. But I also said to her that, you know, there could be a Q4 banana zone, so the probability could be higher than 25%. Now, she didn't respond to that. You know, she didn't tell me no. So I was like, green means go. But you want to know what else she told me? We got to start filming podcast post-production. Basically, she said, if you think Zcash is going up, she's like, I would take XRP over Zcash. So in my mind, I'm like, so if I think Zcash is going to go to 1,000 and I'm going to buy the dip at 120, and I bought the dip at 150, and I'm just going to take my chance because, you know, you got to be in it to win it, as the New York Lotto commercial goes. But she likes XRP better. So if I think Zcash is going to 1,000, where's XRP going? And who's talking about that? Nobody. Like, you know, just go online and try to find some XRP news. Try to find an XRP upside target. No one's talking about it. Everyone's talking about, I don't know, the guy who made Litecoin say, I wish I'd never made Litecoin. Let me tell you something about this. What do I always say? When guys and projects get bearish their own coins, buy everything. Just take it all. I mean, Consensus or whatever the Ethereum Foundation is. I mean, they sold ETH at 3,000. They just sold and sold and sold. These ETH treasury companies came in around 3K. They sold. I know they have bills to pay. I get it. But the protocols, instead of borrowing against the ETH, sold it. So what's ETH going to do? Oh, it's going to go to 8,000. So I guess everyone's going to try to tell me, and we discussed this earlier, we're all going to tell me that ETH can't just go to 8,000 like that, especially with this currency debasement trade going on. I don't think people really understand what's going on here. You can't have them spinning up the printer in Japan again with like European governments falling. And we are literally over here about to start fighting in the streets. Like I tried to get the GAN model to talk about it and, it kind of wouldn't. But I mean, like the Orange Man and the Green Army men versus, masked bandits, that's going to happen in multiple U.S. cities, right? If the judges allow him to put, 300 to 400 guys, okay, who are escorting, the ICE detention group, the ICE immigration group, those guys are rolling 200 deep too. So, you got 500 guys running around these cities trying to, do law enforcement, and people who don't agree are going to meet them in the street. This is happening. This is not some like novel. This is happening. Sovereign governments falling, printer being spooled up, universal basic income, and, red versus blue in the street, zero judgment, zero opinion either way. But it is happening in the street. Like, even people on the red side are like, should the army be in the street? And if the army is on the street, why are we not buying crypto? Why is crypto not exponentially higher? Which is why I continue to believe that you're just going to walk in one day and crypto is going to be 25% higher, right? People are going to say, okay, we have to hit the reset button on all this. These valuations are so stupid. We can't take it anymore. And you're just going to wake up and everything's going to be up 25%. Like the price action in privacy is going to leak over into the rest of the market. It's like like the cold in the kindergarten class, right? I mean, the despair, the lack of volatility, the range trading, the winter, that can breed itself once it starts, which it did. We had 10 months of winter. And now everyone is either selling or taking profits like it's a trading thing. I'm sure traders are fading it. I'm sure they're fading Zcash, and I hope Zcash just catches them. People are fading everything that goes up on the trading side, I'm sure, when they should be just buying any dip that they can get their hands on. Because if you can buy a dip and make money, especially after it's gone up, it is a bull market. And then there's people going, my coin hasn't gone up yet. Dude, don't worry about your coin. Toby told you this morning, if you have stuff that's underperforming, unless you have all your money in one coin, you evaluate it when it's massively higher in December. How massively higher? I don't know. I mean, ETH went from 2,000 to 4,000. That's my pet example for today, right? The guy who made Litecoin hates Litecoin. I mean, are you kidding? Great PR stunt. Seriously. Oh, I hate my coin. Guy's probably been buying it for a month. Absolutely hate it. Don't touch it. I saw Miss Teen Crypto this morning losing her mind. I didn't get to listen to it yet. She's kind of doing a rebrand away from Miss Teen Crypto. She's like losing her mind about Litecoin after what this guy said, right? Trying to stick up for Litecoin or stick up for her own view of Litecoin, whatever, right? It's like, oh, I hate it. At exactly the moment when you would want to be buying that because they have a poor man's privacy feature in that. An antivirus doesn't have a poor man's privacy feature. They have actual privacy products that you use the crypto digital asset to buy things with. And they're talking about more announcements coming up. I mean, 3 million market cap, really? Wow. With Zcash going on. Talk about the possibility of a revaluation. I mean, Michael Saylor, when he discovered Bitcoin, Bitcoin didn't move the way it moves now. Bitcoin would move in 5, 6, 7% increments, right? Huge swings. And when Bitcoin would behave like that, that volatility, as Michael Saylor would say, that's energy. So speaking of energy, I know y'all are out there waiting for the top AI coins and some TA on the basic ones that you really got to start thinking about, like right now. Right now. Like, the full moon was last night. So if there's going to be a dip, you're looking at it. You're going to see a dip either today or tomorrow. And if what's happening on your screen now is the dip, meaning it kind of goes up a lot and maybe pulls halfway back, oh my God. If that's the dip, it's just going to go. And oh, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the government's still shut down, by the way. Government's closed. Anybody noticing? I'm not. They've been shut down, but Polymarket said it won't be a record. You sure about that? You sure? The Orange Man has got the absolute high ground, right? This right-wing figure that, suddenly became deceased, sadly, that gave him a bump. And now he's talking about stimmy checks, more tariffs. He's leaning on bad guys in South America. It's just full on Orange Man. And how long do you think before that leaks into crypto? Honestly, no transaction task on crypto. You know who you got to watch out for? You got to watch out for Eric Trump on the tape. You say what you want about this guy. He didn't get the ETH timing right, and everyone makes fun of him. But every time that guy gets on CNBC and starts talking about $1 million target for Bitcoin, the whole market is higher 3 days later. Right? That's like the canary in the coal mine. That, and of course, Michael Saylor indiscriminately buying Bitcoin at these prices because he knows where it's going. Right? I don't know. Toby discussed what she thinks about Bitcoin and what her most likely upside target is. And, when I see that, like I listen to her talk and I'm like, that's really interesting. And I said, this guy, Benjamin Cohn, is on the air talking about, Bitcoin dominance exploding any minute now. And I guess that's his rap. So he's going to use it. But how about we do a little basic Fibonacci retracement analysis on Bitcoin dominance? So Bitcoin dominance has retraced 38% of its recent move. So when Bitcoin dominance is falling, altcoins are doing well. When Bitcoin dominance rises, Bitcoin is doing well. Well, guess what? Guess what, everybody? This is classic, right? When you can do TA and it is basic, like retracements, square consolidations, triangles, all this, like, you buy the giant chart book and all the stuff from page 1 to 100 is working, you're in a bull market. So if Bitcoin dominance is at resistance and probably going to collapse, what does that mean for altcoins? Like, everyone's like, oh, it's a new all-time high in Bitcoin. It's a fun tweet. Yeah, it's great. But this could be like complete ignition for the rest of the market. And I don't know that that's what's being talked about. Like, for example, to give you part of what you came for, these are the bullish catalysts, right? The yen and risk appetite, right? Yen falls, risk assets rise. Gold headed for 4,000, silver headed for 50. It's known in the media as the debasement trade. In other words, out of fiat into crypto and stable coins. Right? In Japan, not only is the yen falling, but it's falling because they're doing aggressive monetary easing and massive fiscal stimulus. You got to remember, when the Japanese do this, they go crazy. Their bond market was falling apart, and they're basically telling you that they don't care. They don't care. We want stocks. We want stocks moving up, which is what they got. We want a wealth effect in the hands of the Japanese people, and we want to get helicopter money to maybe get people feeling a little bit better and get everybody out of their beds. Period. Okay. Thinking about AI trades. Let's start with something. Let's start with something where I know you're going to roll your eyes. I get it. And it's not an unjustified eye roll. Okay. Here's artificial superintelligence token. What has it done? Nothing. But it is sitting on support, and LuxAlgo did come in and give you like a green go buy signal. You are sitting right there on support, like right there. And how is that not going up? TAO, your small coin, your smaller-ish coin in the AI space, up 10% today. What was it doing yesterday and the last 3 days? Nothing. And then, bang, up 10%. And then everyone's going to go, I can't buy it. And then they're going to do this. They're going to zoom out. And they're going to see that nothing has happened in this token. Really, nothing has happened in this token since November of last year. Like the train is just leaving the station. Everyone wants to get off the train. It hasn't left the station yet. So if TAO's doing it, like, what's next? Well, what's the answer to what's next is everything. Everything is what's next. Okay. Like, for example, more AI coins, right? Again, this is not, some of this is not earth shattering in terms of like its newness. But if you turn around and then look at the charts, you'll be like, huh. So, Render, decentralized GPU. Like, what do you think is going to happen when Silicon Valley gets done buying everything in the Web 2 space? What are they going to do? They're going to start going after the decentralized universe. They're going to start making partnerships, or somebody's going to make partnerships, or these projects are going to start doing something, and everyone's going to go, wow, there's something going on with AI over there in crypto. Completely ignore trade. Numeraire. JP Morgan puts $500 million into an AI-based quant fund. Okay, goes all the way up and then dips. Where is everybody? Right? RLC, iExec. Okay, we have our top pick made the AI list from the Solana small cap. So our top pick for AI small cap Solana coins below 50 million is ... She'll tell you all about it. I think we figure out our outfits, by the way. I think the plunging neckline disco outfit works for Toby. And I notice I get a lot of views with a blue suit and a gold tie. A full wardrobe switch is we're thinking about it. If you like the idea of blue suits and gold ties, feel free to comment down below. But more AI. Golem. A couple of YouTubers have like featured this coin. Okay. Decentralized computing power. It's not a huge coin, right? Microcaps, port 3. I'm giving you a bone there. That was in our Solana report this morning. Okay. AI servicing protocol, PORT 3, right? These are like small coins in the AI space that no one's talking about, that the GAN model is locating because, they're in kind of an uptrend. So port 3, Golem, one I can't give you, right? RLC, Numeraire, Render. Oh yeah. And by the way, I'm just going to pull up the chart. I haven't looked at it yet. There's the graph. There's all this boring stuff, like what's the Zcash of AI? Like what's the Zcash coin that's just going to explode? Well, we don't know yet. But I mean, everybody absolutely hates, like if you look at the graph on a weekly chart, there's two questions you have to ask yourself. First of all, this is on a big fib number. I don't even know. It's on like a big fib circle structure right here, right? And these little X's from LuxAlgo, if you can see them, would indicate that, downside momentum is over. What happens if something like this just turns around and takes off? What happens? I mean, just to get back to where it was in December puts graph from 8 cents to 35 cents. Okay. All right. So we have another question, which is a great question. Everyone's always talking about Ondo, and it's not working out for me, and I don't understand it. Okay. Yeah. Someone's asking me if I think XRP is going to $10 this year. Sir, that is a very distinct possibility. I don't want to give you investment advice, but in my opinion, after doing the GAN work and listening to Toby, it is possible. I think $6 feels like, I don't know. Like Toby says, I'm bored with the idea of $6 XRP. That's not an exact quote, but that's what she said. Like, I'm already bored with the idea that there's going to be a banana zone parabolic. Toby kind of lives in the future. And now I'm moving to what's going to moon in 2026, which happens to be some of what I own. So I'm fine with that. Everyone's like, I'm sick of Ondo. I want to say Ondo came out of both the GAN model and it was a top Toby pick amongst the large caps. And, I don't mind telling you that because, I think there's a lot of discouraged people. And, I happen to be talking to somebody about a real world asset project that I think is going to crack the earth open. I got a real world asset idea, and I got a privacy idea with antivirus. I got two catalysts in mind in each one, a catalyst in mind in each of these coins for like earth-shattering stuff to go on. Like everyone's talking the talk, and in crypto, we may start walking the walk. I don't know what the rationale is to give up on something like Ondo, right? When, you have a head and shoulders bottom with an upward sloping neckline. So either this is going to just sit here and do nothing, okay, which I just made a huge argument for that not to happen, or it's going to do this. And if it doesn't go back below this neckline, if it breaks out, it goes like that. All you need is an announcement, right? Like, look at this kind of insane Zcash announcement. Like, oh, we're going to put it in Thor swap. I mean, I said this to Toby this morning. I said, that was not on anyone's bingo card, right? Like, who knew the top 5 coins were going to be for like cross-chain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and like I could have said Zcash, but you would have been like, okay, Bill, you said that 2 years ago. Look at what happened. You had one announcement. So the Ondo theory is the same. It's the same way. Right? We know Ondo is good, or there was a lot of Ondo hype and they bored everybody to tears, and it comes out to be a top pick any way you slice it, but it hasn't moved yet. And everyone's already packing in and giving up on it. I do not agree. Like, I'm just eyeballing certain altcoins, Hedera up 8%. MNT, which I think is a layer 2, up 13%. And then, what they do is they bring the market back down, and they give you these intra-day dips. Like, I don't know. We were looking at some crazy meme coin in one of our reports. We were looking at things like Zero Bro. Not investment advice, because that's very risky. But there are still a lot of altcoins. Virtuals is up 8% today. So the AI trade is not going to happen, right? Somebody's asking this morning, when is the AI trade going to happen? What are the top 10 AI altcoins? That's not what they asked me, but that's what I'm telling you. That's what I just told you. And I just charted it. Like, please explain to me how this is not going to happen. It absolutely is going to happen. And I also think monthly charts in ETH can be very powerful. Like, look at this. Right? So we talked about ETH rocketing itself off this LuxAlgo support point on a monthly chart. I mean, I don't understand, like, when you have these very basic formations going, I don't see a lot of this. Like, let's just use our imagination. So like the minimum upside target for ETH on a triangle is, I did a lot of triangles in Legacy, trust me. Okay, the minimum upside target is like the narrow part of the triangle, right? So that's 5,600. Okay, the maximum upside target is the big part of the triangle from the point of the breakout, which is 7,300. Let me ask you something. How many articles did you read today talking about ETH at 7,300? I want to say zero. Zero. Where's XRP $10? Nowhere to be found. Where's Made in America cryptos with HBAR moving the way it does? It's nowhere to be found. Because the market has lulled literally everybody to sleep. Everybody. And I think these weekly charts have tactical value. Meaning this is a kind of a rare thing, right? Like normally you don't do tactical trading off of weekly and monthly charts, but I think it may be appropriate, right? I mean, Solana, okay, goes 1 through 9 on a weekly chart. Then it has a very odd pause that refreshes, very difficult. Looks like it's going to restart the rally, then gives you the dip. Nasty. But it gets everyone out. And then this trend, you got a very nice, kind of bullish counterattack formation from a candlestick point of view. And now he's trying to get that follow through, right? Because that's what you need. There is no such thing as a candlestick reversal without follow through. Look, down here, it's the same thing. Back in June, right? Down, everybody in, everybody out, everybody back in again. And then we're going to sit and wait. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? And then all of a sudden, boom, up 3 weeks in a row. What, you don't think that can happen again? I mean, that was when Solana was at 150. Solana's now at 240. So what? So what? I mean, what's Solana worth on the market cap chart? I don't know, a couple $100 billion. What's it worth? Just go to CoinGecko and just talk about market cap. I'm discovering this. It's like an altcoin daily thing. Like, what are the top 10 coins you should look at? You're expecting some list of small caps, and it's actually the top 10 coins. These guys are geniuses when they do this stuff. Oh, okay. Solana's market cap, 127 billion. Who cares? 127 billion. They're doing 127 billion on their phone before they get in the shower at Silicon Valley. You got to be kidding me. That's why the machine this morning was like, oh yeah, give me some coins. Give me some coins for a weird world. Doge, Solana, BNB was on the list, and so were the top 3. Now it gave you other stuff like Aave and Chainlink. Gann model wants to go big and go home for the dollar yen trade and the social disorder trade and frankly the AI trade. None of this stuff has moved yet. None of it has. Cosmic Ninja says .ETF is coming. And you know what? A lot of ETFs may be coming, but ETFs frequently come with options markets. And I have this really weird idea. One, if an ETF is coming, the banana zone move comes before the ETF, not after, with altcoins. Bitcoin was kind of different because equities people had to allocate money over. And in my opinion, anything that doesn't have an ETF, but does have a legacy futures contract, which is like Solana and XRP, they could go up massively. They could go up massively. I mean, I want to buy Solana small caps, and Toby's like, well, don't do that because Solana might 3x and go to 600. Who's talking about that? And where's the rest of the market if Solana is at 600? I mean, I remember talk when Solana goes up. I was like, oh, Solana 500, Solana 1000. Where's that talk? Nowhere. There is no talk about that, right? I mean, if you look at the news that's out, right, it's not a lot of news. Like, people are talking about, the yen thing, and I have gone over that in multiple streams, but like XRP volumes are picking up on these levered exchanges, these exchanges that allow leverage. By the way, AIntivirus just made its own levered DEX, which I discovered that I can use it. Normally, I'm a little bit concerned about using these decentralized DEXs. AIntivirus just built one using the orderly network. Janice McAfee tweeted it out. I was like, wow, look at this. These guys they do nothing but build stuff. And I think this is also like an unbelievably, an unbelievably important piece that Galaxy is working with Robinhood and Coinbase to get you a 4% yield app. So all these Wall Street guys are already figuring out ways to use treasuries and derivatives or whatever to get you 5% yield on stablecoins. Now, of course, that's dangerous. Like if you don't know where the yield is coming from, the yield is you. But with guys like Novogratz involved, it's like, someone is asking about Pirate Chain. Okay. Well, let's look at Pirate Chain. Again, small privacy coins that have a value proposition are exploding, right? You see this, how it kind of pops up and then comes back down and retests the old high. That is about as old school as it gets. I mean, we'll go back to the Pirate Chain because that has been a top coin in our GAN reports. And I think anything that comes out in privacy that is marketable, antivirus may do something on the marketing front that may shock you, right? Very powerful stuff that they're trying to work on. Zcash tactical chart. See these square routines, these square consolidations. And every time the momentum models it's going down, it stops and turns around and goes back up. That means someone is down there. That means like the big guys are down there. If this goes to 1,000, if Zcash goes to 300, if Zcash goes to 300 and hedge funds are not on it, they're going to get fired. This is kind of like my bet, right? That's, if they can't get there, if they can't get involved, they're gonna miss out. And if this thing goes crazy, and it kind of feels like it does, because again, how long have we been talking about the privacy narrative? How long? Long time, right? Long time. 10 months with antivirus. And, everyone's kind of doubting it. And that may not be the smartest thing to do. Okay, here's the Pirate Chain. I mean, again, things seem to be simple. Feels like a beautiful rounding bottom to me. And when these things exit like this, they go crazy. Which is why, you have to honestly be looking at this antivirus, this thing where they did the false breakdown. This is a parallel channel. They did this breakdown. They did this huge heave, right? Everybody gave up on this thing. And now this thing has subtly climbed back into the wedge. And I see no reason why this thing just can't take out 6 cents and go to 12 cents. I mean, I haven't talked about hyperbole-ish upside targets in antivirus in a while. There is absolutely no reason why this thing cannot blow through and pay a visit up through 5 cents through the top of this thing. At 3 million, this is a joke. It's a joke that it's this cheap given what's going on in the privacy sector. And again, that may be okay. It's not okay because I own it, right? But I can wait because the money is not weighed in the buying and the selling. The money is made in the waiting. Okay. Origin Trail, reliable AI, okay, is another thing that's on our radar. It's on our radar. And, if you're not looking, okay, Aster is the #1 trade on CoinGecko, up massively. Okay. This is like the new hot trading thing. And what's amazing about the rise of a new perp platform is people are underestimating the speculative juice that's in this market. I mean, if they're flooding into the perps, the traders are flooding in. Wow, look at this TRAX token. Like people, this is a good example. We can watch like, you know, kind of a God candle happening real time. Look at the volume flooding into this thing. The speculative fever in this market is taking hold. 266 million market cap. Verifiable AI. Verifiable AI. Just smoking. It is happening right before your eyes. Right before your eyes. Oh, by the way, did somebody say privacy? Did you know Monero, which is correcting today, is sitting at its equilibrium? Nothing particularly exciting or exotic going on in Monero. And what's really interesting is, you know, I don't know if they're running away from it or what they're doing, but they broke out of this big LuxAlgo formation, this like alligator, I don't know, a downward sloping alligator mouth. I mean, I can't see it. I can't say I've seen that before. But, you know, if you want to get crazy about an upside target, if Monero holds above, say, 313, right now Monero's at 311. So if they press it to the downside, actually, I'm going to make it 306 because that's the bottom of, you know, the LuxAlgo formation here. You could be looking at the premium zone of 420. And then if you go back and you look at a monthly history of Monero, the premium zone in Monero on a monthly chart is at 530. And what's really comical is that, I mean, I know the Zcash guys are having fun, but, you know, they're kind of like trying to pick a fight with the Monero people on Twitter. And I'm like, you know, you got to be kidding me. How many, you know, like you have Bitcoin and Ethereum of privacy is Monero and Zcash. And they could bring this whole world, Pirate Chain. I mean, there's NYM, there's AIntivirus. Not to mention any new privacy coins that can be created. I mean, you know, the innovation cycle in privacy, frankly, has been the antivirus team. You know, gift cards, DEXs, eSIM cards, mixers. I mean, they just build stuff. There's no building going on in privacy anywhere. Now, Zcash has been making a bunch of innovations over a period of years to where, you know, you can go peer-to-peer in their Zashi wallet, which you can read all about in the Patreon Platinum and in the YouTube member area deep dives. Zcash is everywhere. Because if Zcash takes off again, I want to be ready. I was kind of a Zcash fan from 50 to 180. And now I'm like, oh my God, if you can buy the dip in Zcash to either 150 or 120, this thing's going to explode. And then we can look at Litecoin for laughs. You know, Litecoin, which is declared dead by its own founder, which I think is a genius PR move. People screaming about it. Litecoin is currently at 118. Equilibrium is 216. And someone's going to tell me that it can't get there. The 2021 high was $400. And you know what? Like when I start thinking about Zcash 1000, $400 Litecoin, like 225,000 Bitcoin or 180,000 Bitcoin, 6K ETH, 600 Solana. Who's talking about that? Nobody. Everyone's like, oh, it's great fourth quarter. But yeah, nobody will give you an upside target. Nobody will talk about like, this is what's going on in the chart. I mean, I'm sure somebody is. But I'm not seeing it on the timeline. I'm seeing, yay, Bitcoin went to 125. Okay. So what does that mean? Technical analysis is about what is the nature of the price action. It's not the line or the stochastic. I mean, it is, but what is it telling you? What is the narrative? If you understand the narrative, then you can buy the dip in something that's already up. You can buy the dip in something that's already up, because I think NMR is an example of something that went way up, right? And now it's probably a little bit harder to buy the dip if I get the chart right. You know, Numeraire, this hedge fund, has got, I don't know, it doesn't have a huge market cap. It doesn't. But it went up a lot. Okay, guess who Chicken Boo is here? Welcome. Oh, it's funny. Guess who Chicken Boo is asking about Fetch? That's our #1 coin for the day. And for guess who Chicken Boo, we'll do it again, right? I want to show you Numeraire, the hedge fund first, because today is AI day. This is AI day, right? AI and privacy day. You see this? This is like a giant pennant, and you're coming to the apex. So what's the market cap of Numeraire? $131 million quantitative crypto hedge fund that helps with equities that JP Morgan is invested in. $100 million. I want to say the top market cap in Ski Mask Dog at the height of the meme coin thing was 250 million. Ski Mask Dog went to 250 million off the big influencer who moved it. Now we have an AI hedge fund with we have an AI hedge fund with JP Morgan involved and Tudor Jones involved, but no one's particularly interested. Okay, Fetch.AI, I know everyone is so annoyed. So annoyed. And I understand that people are annoyed. But, you know, I said to the GAN model, it's like, all right, you know, give me the top 10 AI coins. And then I gave it multiple opportunities to pick something different. And it kept picking Fetch and TAO, or artificial superintelligence token. This market's going to wait you out. I'm telling you, that's what's been happening all across the board. It's done it everywhere. I mean, really, if you think about it, in Aave, right? Aave has been moving since April. It's been moving since April. And you have the, you know, so I mean, that covers Fetch. It covers, it's sitting on support, and giving up on any one particular token has not paid. And look at this bizarre thing. You have an accumulation cone in Aave almost at the top of a range. That's insane. And they were selling this down here on the 26th of September. And really, the upside target in Aave is 400. And the way that happens is if ETH blows through 500, because you got to remember something, right? You got to remember. Okay, hang on 1 second. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have gold at 4,000. You have gold at 4,000, silver near 50, ETH near 5,000. What happens if all three of those things blow through all at once? What's going to happen? Haven Peck says, okay, I'm long Pengu, Sheeb, WIF, all with totally inappropriate leverage. Okay, so let's not blow ourselves up. I can't give investment advice, okay? But you know what? I'm okay with speculating. Why? Because none of this stuff has moved yet. I mean, let's go to Pepe. I'm glad you want to do Pepe. The GAN model wanted to do Doge. GAN models talked about MOG over and over again. You know, whatever works for you. Wow, WIF. Okay. So if you're going to do inappropriate leverage, you know, do it when it's down. Do it when no one thinks it's going up. And it's, let's do it at resistance, right? Resist. We talked about what I think about resistance this morning. That's what I think about resistance. It's bunk. Pepe, resistance, whatever. Like if you zoom out, and this is really not that, this is just 2025. And this is like, it's dead. It's never going up again in our lifetime. Okay. Whatever. Right? Guess who Chicken Boo with the big super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Right? Staten Island Chris says, don't do meme coins, whatever you do. Dude, you know what? You can do meme coins. If you're in your basement doom scrolling, you can do meme coins. Meme coins are authorized for those people. Let's get everybody out of bed. Let's people are worried about their jobs. Let's get them out of there, or at least get it so they can do their job without having a mental breakdown about losing it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of that going on out there too, which is another reason why I think they got to get stimmy checks in people's hands. Really. I think everybody's got to, anybody who doesn't have it has got to have 1 month's rent in the bank. I mean, with HBAR, I think it's pretty simple. It ripped up here in July. It comes back down and it sits on equilibrium, which is a very classic thing to do. And then it's going through LuxAlgo trend lines right now as we speak. And, if you get these little intraday dips, like if you go to like a 45-minute chart, right? Like, you get, first of all, you have, people really pouring in here. Tactically, maybe it's overbought. Maybe it goes back to 22 cents. Then again, maybe it doesn't. Like this is a test, right? This is a test to see how bad people want these coins. Like if this was a high from October 2nd, HBAR breaks out and there's every reason to take tactical trading profits, but it doesn't go down. Like these are the tests. Like I'm not saying this is definitely what's happening. I don't want to be some irresponsible moon boy, right? Full moon's coming up, so you may have a correction off the full moon. Good. If there's supposed to be a correction, and that correction either goes to this yellow line at 22 cents, or if it holds at 23 cents, maybe they do a little flush, wash everybody out. But this type of like horizontal support and resistance thing, like I know a guy, this is all he does. He doesn't do any other technical indicator other than horizontal support and resistance. So if there's a breakout, he wants to see if it holds. And if it holds, it turns around, it goes back up. He's on board. He's buying more. He doesn't buy it until it breaks out and comes back down here. And he's a buyer, at this level. And the same thing was going on in, not to like overdo it, but the same thing's going on right now in Zcash, right? Like, here was the old set of highs here, right? It's like right at 157, these like wicks that were up there, and that's the zone. And we'll see if it holds. They did one flush, they did two flushes. This feels like the third flush. And if it doesn't work, and this is everywhere, like it's just Zcash and HBAR are two examples. And we had a super chat, right? So, do I believe in it? I mean, dude, it's not my number one favorite, but Wendy O is a sponsor for it. So if you have marketing, you have a chance. I mean, HBAR has Karate Combat and Wendy O. On that basis, yeah, the token can go up a lot. Not to mention this fact about American tax treatment. Like that whole thing has not occurred to anybody. Don't forget, the Orange Man is massively long crypto. And whether you like him or you don't like him, he is playing offense now. Like, he was back on his heels with some of these scandals. People didn't like what was going on in the Middle East, whatever, man. I mean, not whatever that's not a problem. I mean, I have kind of a problem with it, but it doesn't matter. The guy's playing offense domestically. His opponents, I guess you can call him the left, whatever you want to call him. He's just leaning on him. And then there's going to be stimulus checks from tariffs, and then, favorable tax treatment because, as soon as they open up the government, the first thing they have to do is make sure they can borrow enough money. And that means the Clarity Act. Tezos is a part of ISO 20022, if I'm not mistaken. You have a LuxAlgo quant buy signal, and typically after you get these buy signals, you normally get some sort of consolidative range before it goes up. Okay. Bait says, when are the checks? So right now the checks are a rumor, right? It's a good rumor, but it's a rumor. It gets crypto moving. And they're doing helicopter money in Japan. We're next. They've been doing helicopter money in Europe. Okay. Curve, CRV from a member. Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, members not only get Toby Ward, but they get priority on comments and requests. Okay, so curve is boring, right? It's boring. Nothing's happening, right? No, nothing's happening. Something is actually happening. It's breaking out of a downward sloping wedge, which feeds into Toby Ward's altcoins are suppressed thing, which also feeds into, you know, what you're seeing on Bitcoin dominance. So LuxAlgo breakout, LuxAlgo quant buy signal. Oh, and look, we're afraid of resistance. We're afraid of equilibrium at 83 cents. Excellent. Makes me want to pay 83 cents because if it gets through 83 cents, it's going to $1.15. This is a classic, right? It's breaking out, it's moving, and everyone's like, oh, no, I got to sell. Bag holders out, everybody out. Let's get out. You know, these 3 red candles, these 4 red candles, they scared me out of the market. I'm never doing this again. God, if you let me sell my curve, I'll never touch it. Boom. Goes the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally happening right before your eyes. Okay. Jasmy, I know Toby likes Jasmy. Cosmos showed up this morning. It was not a top Toby pick, but Cosmos showed up as kind of like along with Polkadot, which is a longtime Toby favorite. Okay. What's Cosmos done? Nothing. The bigger the base, the higher into space. There's all this resistance at 460. Good. Good. I mean, you know, markets climb the wall of worry. Usually it's a geopolitical worry, a Fed worry. You know, it's like that. Now I actually think there's technical analysis worry. Either it's gone up too much and they don't know if you should buy the dip, or it hasn't gone up, it's at resistance and you're scared or you want to dump your bag or whatever. I'm going to tell you something really weird. Really weird. Okay. And this is funny coming from me. Dump negative emotions. You know, I talk for a living, and that's good. But it doesn't make me the best regulator of my own emotions in my personal life. Now, I'm not going BitBoy or anything, so don't worry about that. But negative emotions in these environments will F you, particularly if you're on the verge. I'm like literally like Elon Musk has got his finger on the rocket launch button with this thing. Whereas like any minute, all it takes is one announcement, one buy, something, and it's gone. Like a central bank, somebody comes in, goes, I'm buying Bitcoin. You know, they're all buying gold. You see that, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's on Twitter. It's like, oh look, gold is going up. Oh look, there's a green chart with gold. Okay. Gold is at its premium and it's, you know, its premium zone, and so is silver. Meanwhile, Jasmy, again, another AI play. What's it doing? It's doing the same thing that everything else is doing. It's got LuxAlgo quant buy signals. No one really cares, and it's doing these slow rolling breakouts. It's a slow rolling breakout. Breakout. Glimmer. Is that Moonbeam? There's a thing. First of all, it's at its discount zone. That's how beat up Glimmer is. And that unto itself, along with this, you know, all of these bottoming signals. And I want to say, if I go over here, I know there's a Polkadot coin, you know, forgive me if I get this wrong, but I'm going to pull this up. This is 755 market cap. Okay. One of these Polkadot projects is a gateway between Polkadot and ETH. And Polkadot, again, is completely underrated as something that's going to be usable along with Cosmos. In other words, if somebody decides to build the whole world on chain, which I can't believe that's going to happen. That is definitely going to happen. It's going to happen. And this goes back to this idea about the negative emotions. Dude, listen. You got to have a level of faith here. Like Toby makes it into kind of a joke. Like, you know, I live in 2050, so I'm above the fray, and that's good. She doesn't have to look at this thing 3 times a day like I do. But at some point, you got to ask yourself, you got to have a little faith, right? You actually got to believe in this stuff beyond I need my bag to go up. And if you believe in this stuff and you just sit here and look at these ninnies, like every day that it goes by, it gets more absurd. The AI narrative, the privacy narrative, Ondo, Chainlink, you know, Polkadot, Cosmos. Those are like the boomer coins. Then there's the whole future of money trade, right? No one's talking about Ethereum 6,000. And I could go on and on and on. They're so afraid in stonks. They're so afraid that they're buying options. The fear in equities, like 100% of the time, it is that the market goes down. So when I say VIX is the fear index, normally fear is related to it going down. Because of this debasement trade, they're now afraid it's going to go up. There's literal panic buying going on. Okay, so Zeta, right? LuxAlgo hasn't really even turned yet. You've had, what, 2 up days? I mean, some of this stuff, I mean, literally, it was at its absolute low on the 30th, and we're 6 days into a rally. 6 days. We're 6 days into a 3.5-month rally. Zeta chain. Okay, so the super chat was, which one of these coins are dead? Okay, well, not Tezos and Cosmos and not Jasmy. Okay, I'd have to look at the rest of it. Now, here's another example. So if I tell you this is Zeta chain, okay, anything cross-chain, man. And we had a particular theme show up today on the YouTube member podcast that was shocking. So let me try to answer the super chat in a way that gives you some assistance and challenges you at the same time. First of all, if you think something might be dead, you have to ask yourself, why did I buy it? So I covered Tezos, Jasmy, and Cosmos. They look okay to me. Everything else, the list looks like yesterday's news outside of Tezos and Cosmos. Really. So if you're long yesterday's news, Toby will tell you, you know, you can evaluate your portfolio in December when everything is up and get rid of the underperformers. Or if you can remember why you buy something or why you would want to own it, then get rid of the rest and reallocate it because you can get in basic stuff and get a 3X. If XRP is going to go to $6 or $10, I think Zcash is going to 1,000, and Toby likes XRP way better than Zcash. What is your position? Like, what are you long? Are you long the right stuff, or are you long a basket of yesterday's news? So Tezos, Cosmos, Jasmy, not investment advice. The rest of it, frequently, if you're asking if it's no good, despite of what I said, if you're asking, are these coins any good? You maybe answer your own question. Some stuff I don't want to give up on. I know I said that you want to wait, but do you remember why you liked it to begin with? Okay. Smash Satoshi says Polkadot blew way too much money last year with no results. Okay. I get it. Polkadot and Chainlink, you know, they're like software companies, right? The money is, the token is used to buy the software. However, you got to remember, A lot of what Polkadot was based on was about, going beyond ETH or even ETH compatibility and things like that. The technical side of it that I'm not familiar with. The company I used to work with had Polkadot for a long time rated as the #1 code, the #1 tech crypto that they'd ever seen. It had a 90% rating. Now, that may have changed. Polkadot may have not done the right thing as a project, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to sell you Polkadot, but what I am telling you is use your memory and use your imagination. Do you remember why you bought it to begin with? That's choice 1. Choice 2 is, can you look at it and say, you know what? I can imagine like this thing could have a Zcash moment because. And if you can come up with a couple reasons and the chart's decent, maybe you keep the coin. If you can't answer any of these questions, well, then like I said, you have answered your own question. The great Santini is here. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. Definitely want to appreciate all our members coming in. You want to get in Patreon Platinum as soon as possible. The Solana small cap report is in there. Like we just said, give me some coins in an uptrend. Which ones do we like the best? And the thing has the Gann model. And ironically, Toby liked the ones in like the B pile. So there was the model made A and B, and Toby was more heavily involved in the B pile, which is interesting. That's an old Charles Schwab thing. Charles Schwab used to rate things from A through F. Okay. And my father used to have a saying. He's like, buy the D's. Don't buy the A's, buy the D's. Because if a D has a positive catalyst, it wakes up and it's gone. Gone. Right? I mean, and that's happening right now in crypto. It is happening right now, and we're all sitting around acting like it's not. It is. And the buy list, I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to come up with a buy list. I mean, this morning we were talking Uniswap, we were talking Aave, we were talking about Chainlink, Polkadot, Cosmos. I mean, we give our members, like slightly more sophisticated stuff, but I don't know that you have to get that much more sophisticated. And I think people are looking at a lot of these cryptos that haven't moved, and this meme coin psychology. Like, I don't have a problem with meme coins, but I think anybody who witnessed the way meme coins moved lost brain cells when it came to like market fundamentals and technicals and the charts. Right? People are just like, hey, you want to buy what's down. You want to do the bigger the base, the higher in the space. And people are getting frustrated. This is not the time to get frustrated. This is the time to like jump out of bed in the middle of the night and watch a live stream. We have Daniel J, Charlie from the Antivirus Universe, Suncatcher Hawaii, Crypto Caveman, Steve, Tyler Hall. What's up? What's up? Abel Matthews, Philip, Stephen, a member. Welcome. Side Hill Forging, Papaloo, a new member. Suit no, tie maybe. For Suncatcher Hawaii. Maybe a gold tie is in my future. I'm telling you, the thumbnails, I don't ask me why. Maybe it's because it mimics the dress code of somebody else. I don't know. Steve Jesse, Jess Who Chicken Boo, Ben from Down Under, welcome. Crypto Caveman in the house, Julius Max, Johnny, right? I will take a look at some of those coins, sir. I will take a look through some of those coins and check out to see what is dead and what is working. Okay. Adele Malik is here. Diego, what's up? Haven, thank you for the super chat. Guess Who Chicken Boo, we appreciate you. Guess Who Chicken Boo, they have these little ratings on the chats. A #1 content consumer in addition to being a member. DC Precise is here. JB is now a Spartan officer who has been here for a year. Congratulations to you, Colonel. Welcome. Steve Jeske, Captain Crypto, Cosmic Ninja. What's up? Breezy has his life savings in Crow. Oh, well, we got to look at that. That's a bold move. Again, these tokens were like a joke until the Orange Man came in and started making partnerships. then it wasn't a joke anymore. I mean, the thing that kind of makes me sort of drool about this market is, everyone's like, well, I missed the uptrade. Yeah, but people, if it holds the 62% retracement, like just think about it for a second as a closing thought. What happens if all of a sudden everyone realizes that you can buy a dip and make money? Like, what's going to happen in the crypto community? Like, everything's normally like pump and dump and out, and that's the way it's been for 10 months. But what happens if everyone starts buying the dip? And my suggestion is you think about buying a dip while you get dips. Like today, you're getting a dip. Stuff goes up 10%, then it goes down 5%. Everyone sells. I don't know. Maybe there's a post full moon hangover correction, whatever. Zcash at 120. Please, please, please. I'm not long enough. The bus left without me. It's got to be a bull market in your mind before it's a bull market in your P&L. Right? You have to believe in what's happening. Like Toby believes it to such a degree, she's bored with the idea of the banana zone in Q4 because she's been talking about it for 10 months. I know that's like an extreme crypto enlightenment example, but do you really believe that you're in the banana zone? Honestly, like your P&L is not allowing you to believe it's the banana zone. I'm telling you, there are indications here that one, it's the banana zone, and two, the market has not fully figured it out yet, even though the catalysts are all over the tape. Like, I think it's taking this crypto market 24 hours to digest this thing in Japan. I don't think people understand what this means. I don't understand that. People don't understand that helicopter money is coming, is here. Right? And Rock and Roll says, keep the alpha coming. Sir, we are here all day, every day. And, it's like most of the people in my life, whether it be customers or colleagues, my name isn't Bill. My name is More Video. Seriously. Like, Sora just came out. Supposedly ChatGPT just came out with some kind of AI-based thing. And, we're going to need AI Bill. We're going to need AI Bill just to fill the demand for all the different types of content when this thing goes full banana zone. Like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's right now, because I'm trying to get so much content out the door. So you have so many choices. The Patreon store, Patreon Platinum, the 6th Street Crypto podcast, right? Where I am just trying to pour literally everything I can, the GAN roadmaps for all the big cryptos. Just how to buy the dip in Zcash. What is the upside targets? And I'm going to expand that, right? I know I'm talking a little bit about some of the stuff that I want to do. Thoughts on Secret Network. We covered this in the VIP stream. I don't mind covering it again. I mean, you really have to ask yourself about Secret. Like, Secret has been around. And they have Silent Swap. That's Shiba Toshi and Wendy O. I mean, this is a real project. I mean, they threw an event at Consensus, which had everybody at it. Now, they were, I'm sure they weren't there for free, but Altcoin Daily was there, right? Mind Your Biz was there. All of these top guys, right, were at this Secret Network function. And what has this thing done? Nothing. Now, LuxAlgo is putting a robust support shelf underneath this thing. There's a sell signal here. And you know what? No one cares. So that answers again, LuxAlgo is not really drawing it, but you can see some type of downward sloping wedge suppression trade going on here. And if it comes out, I mean, again, speed, magnitude, and direction, what goes up a certain way, what goes down a certain way, goes back up the same way. I mean, this whole thing is literally right in front of your face. Right in front of your face. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. Okay. We have a request for the #1 thing on DEX tools today, Phoenix. Oh my God, is this an XRP meme coin? You know what? I got to tell you something. You got to watch out for anything that trades on any of these small layer ones. I don't know, man. It's a 10 million market cap. I don't know anything about this, but I do know that the bigger the base, the higher in the space is happening. Wow. Army, the XRP Army token at 7 million market cap. I mean, again, these are all dead meme coins. I'm looking at a dead meme coin. I'm looking at zero, bro. And that whole token had to be restructured. It's like destroyed. I can't come up with a reason to buy it other than the GAN model picked it up. The Phoenix rises again, the ultimate symbol of resilience. It stands to reason that if XRP goes to $4, $5, $6, $10, $12, that these things would follow, right? And if you look at those charts, and if you look at Army or Phoenix, like, I have a very simple question. Very simple. It's not about being long or being short or any of that. Like, when you look at this, is anyone paying attention? Is anyone paying attention? No. No one's paying attention. Now, either because this stuff is dead, or it's because everyone is giving up right before it turns. So, I mean, not investment advice on this, but I mean, you know, if XRP Army and the Phoenix Bird and all that, I mean, this makes me think AIntivirus at 3 million market cap is even more absurdly cheap because, you know, this is just some meme coins, but they haven't moved yet. The speculative juice in this market has not made its way to stuff like this. And this is a classic example of XRP sentiment. Guess nothing's going to happen on that XRP chain, right? That RL USD. No one wants that. Trillions of dollars are coming into stablecoins out of necessity. Like, how are they going to do helicopter money? What happens if you have, I mean, this is a long shot, right? Like, let's go to XRP Army. Let's go to Army and backtrack to macro. So no one wants Army because no one believes XRP is going up, because no one's paying attention to the fact that they're going to need the Clarity Act in order to guarantee stable coins, in order to guarantee government debt issuance in a world where currencies and bond markets potentially become unglued to the point where everyone in legacy cannot buy enough gold, enough silver, or enough stocks. It's like they have to completely get out of fiat. But what you're going to tell me is, going all the way back to the beginning, that there's going to be nothing going on in XRP, nothing going on in XRP Ledger. Nobody cares about their stablecoin. Really? Are you sure? Like, you're watching all this stuff going on in legacy, and XRP and XRP Ledger and antivirus and all this stuff mooned on just kind of like raw FOMO. Like, you know, the Orange Man's meme coin trade created kind of a shock wave that got everything going and created a top and the campaign. And that was just all talk. That was all talk. You had a monster moonshot in 2024 on talk. And in 2023, you had the Fed goose the market with high-powered money to try to give the current administration a Merry Christmas before the election. And that's like peanuts compared to what's going on. I mean, Japan just came out and said, we don't care. And they've done this before. They have done this before. They have said, you know what? We don't care. We are just going to print. They have done this over and over and over again. This new prime minister is coming in and she's like, what's old is new again. And how long do you think it's going to be before we got to issue stimulus checks, before the Fed has to aggressively cut rates to save the labor market? The actual economy and building stuff is fine. We don't have enough electricity. We don't have enough data centers. We don't have enough water. We don't have enough of all this stuff. All this stuff's going to get built. So the economic data on one hand will look great, but what about the people? The people are just wiped out. So the Fed is going to have to come in, and the Japanese are finally admitting it. They're like, you know what? Our people are hosed. Our people are hosed. They're suffering from inflation. I don't know what's going on with their job market, but their demographics are a disaster. Supposedly, if you want a house, you can go to Japan. There's like empty houses everywhere because of this problem with the population. It makes me want to go. It makes me want to go, right? I wouldn't mind. Member request for Crow. Okay, so we worked on Crow. Okay. I think there's something very interesting about Crow. Again, if this is an exchange token, and here's something that I missed the first time. First of all, it's 2 billion market cap. And I think you should start adjusting in your mind to the idea that by the time you get to December, you're going to think 2 billion market cap is like average. You're like, yeah, that's kind of cheap. That's small cap. What happens if billion-dollar coins are small cap in December? At $2 billion, and this is a major artery for changing crypto, trading crypto, and it's currently holding on a prior high from last November. I don't know, man. Again, this is not rocket scientists. I mean, I appreciate you tuning into the show, and I'm happy to do this stuff for you. But, if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, or you know how to go on TradingView and use this function and like draw some lines, like, okay, yeah, let's just keep it simple. How about that? Boom, right? This zone, like this prior high here, this most recent high. So this high uptick before everybody gave up. I'm trying to find the exact date here. Okay. So this was the high uptick before it crashed. I'm not getting any love here from my computer screen. I can't see the date. Anyway, there was a high uptick here before it crashed. And right now, Crow is sitting literally right on top of that level. Right on top of it. And of course, they had to do a little probe below it to make sure and do a little check, and then it holds. Like the point where the give up trade started from is now support. And this is going on across the crypto spectrum. So you have macro catalysts. You have a bottom-up rally, as in, stuff is too cheap. And you have a boy named Sue reminding you that there's a whole section of this market where there's just zero belief, and they're still giving up. They're still giving up. Now, I don't know if XRP meme coins are where you want to be. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know if XRP is at $10, you're going to have a speculative shockwave through that universe, which is why which is why we went after like the tech portion on Solana. We said, hey, what's on Solana? And, the theme that we came out with, I'm not going to tell you what the theme is, but, it's a theme that everyone assumes is dead. And that was already in an existing uptrend. And the ones that Toby picked were on those themes. I'm not telling you what the theme is, because we sat there and we were like, that's back. So not only is the tech part of crypto back, not only are boomer coins back, not only is the market rallying from a bottom up, not only is everyone bullish but not long, or bullish and long and frustrated. I mean, do you know anybody who's skipping around going, oh my God, I'm having such a good time in crypto. I'm getting so rich. You hearing any of that on the tape? I mean, you hear a lot of these like old school hodler Bitcoin maxi types cheering about a new Bitcoin all-time high. But, while I'm on the subject, I mean, if you go back and you actually look at the Bitcoin chart, for all the brouhaha that you have in Bitcoin these days, which again, it's not that we don't want that to be happening. Of course we want that to be happening, but what has really happened in 2025? What? For the year, Bitcoin has underperformed gold massively, and for the year, you've had yourself a 15% rally. Now, of course, what would just blow your mind is this beautiful LuxAlgo, A, B, C correction, which of course ended here at 109, right on top of a big triangle, and then boom. But I mean, what's really happened in the crypto market? Nothing. has happened here. I mean, what's been happening in gold? A lot. How can crypto not follow this? How can it not? Now, again, to conclude, what's happening is it's not following, and you're looking at it and you're getting frustrated. And I'm telling you, let's name them all. Frustration, fear that you missed out, fear that you own the wrong coins. Okay. Fear that crypto is going to go up. Fear that crypto is going to go down. Fear about your job. The news. So stop reading the news. Just stop. You don't need to read the news. The printing press is on. You don't need to read the news anymore. You don't. Right? Because it'll scare you out of your trade. Okay? Qubits, any thought on take profits level? Okay, final request. Then we're leaving. You have to dump the negative emotions. And I'm oh, it's a stock. Okay, my general feeling on stocks is one, you want to rotate to crypto. Period. Okay, so this looks like price discovery in a quantum computing company. It's at its premium zone. And I'm just going to be very blunt with you. You know, there's going to be a stock market disturbance in November, and there's going to be a stock market disturbance next year per Toby. And I completely believe it. Exit stage left. If you made money in this, exit and get in crypto. That's it. I mean, that's a great final word, right? People are so attached to the stock market. Like I tell people to get out of the stock market and get in crypto, like 50 stocks, 30 Bitcoin, 20 other. And as far as I'm concerned, that can be altcoins or crypto equities. As far as I'm concerned, you tell people this, and I told somebody this last night, a bunch of good friends of mine, they looked at me like that guy, I don't know, like I was an octopus man or something. They're like, what? I got to go 50% equities? What are you talking about? There's no understanding. By the way, if I can get rid of the negative emotions, the thing I would add is imagination. Add imagination to what you're doing. Haven Peck says, I am the news. Crypto Crazy Knowledge Dump is happy with the stream. By the way, if you're still here, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share it, tell your friends. This is on Twitter, so you can actually like retweet your friends. You know, share the stream. And for God's sakes, 200 likes moves the channel, right? You help me, I can help you. And God knows I could use the help here because this thing is about to go banana zone, and nobody has done a better job of getting their customers ready than in the third person, Bill Noble, Toby Ward, and the Eagle King. We have been there for you. Please be here for us. Subscribe to our research, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the hype button, hit whatever button there is. We will see you tomorrow.